All right, we're live. We're live. Oh my goodness. To say I'm excited, like, doesn't even quite capture how I feel in this moment, you guys. Um, like, I love this program. I love it. I've been doing it for, I don't know, 6 years or so. More recently, the way we're doing it for the past 3 years. And I love this. I love the content. I love the people. I love the community. Like, I will pour my heart out to you on this hangout for the next 13 weeks. Like, heart and soul and the best of what I have. I'm going to give. I think I have lipstick on my teeth. No, I got it. Okay. So here we go, you guys. I just got off a Facebook Live to my area announcing the cruise, although my directors already knew. We did a hangout and kind of broke down the details already. But really, for the first time, spoke to my area about the cruise. And it's just exciting and totally so perfectly connects to the content that we're going to cover today. So welcome officially to 90 Days of Greatness. This is version 3.0 as far as how we do it in this style and with our Facebook community. And it's going to be a wild ride for the next 90 days. And I love our business because it works in 90-day cycles. Okay. And I want you to really grasp the value, the importance, the significance of a 90-day cycle, because that's what we're about to experience together. And what the work you do, you usually don't reap the benefits, the rewards, the growth, the momentum until 90 days later. And that's not a Mary Kay thing. That's like a life thing. You guys, you have to work and work and work and work and work at something and then see the results. Personal growth, any kind of growth, it is hard in the beginning, and then it's like super messy in the middle, but then gorgeous and beautiful at the end. Okay, so we're about to probably enter the hard and the messy. Unless somebody was really killing it, if you were really killing it like 90 days ago, then you're experiencing the beautiful and gorgeous at the end part of growth. And if you weren't killing it 90 days ago, we're just going to enter into the hard and the messy right now, and then look forward to the beautiful growth that's going to unfold as we invest all of ourselves into all of our business over the next 90 days. And so just embrace the cycle, you guys, embrace the process. This is such a chop wood, carry water business. If you haven't read the book, you've got to grab that book, you guys. It might be the book we do next year for version 4.0. But life is a chop wood, carry water process. And entrepreneurship, even more so, is a chop wood, carry water process. That, like, you see people wildly successful, and what we often don't see is them chopping wood and carrying water. And how fun does chopping wood and carrying water sound? Like, not fun at all. Like, I don't want to do that. Only my husband likes to chop wood for a hobby. That's become his new hobby. But he does it for a hobby. He does it for fun when he feels like it, not for a job. You wouldn't want to chop wood and carry water for a job. It sounds hard. It sounds mundane. It sounds too repetitive. It sounds hard. It sounds really, really hard. And that is the process to success. It's just challenging. It's going to take all of you, giving all of you to all of your business over the next 90 days. But I promise the benefit is worth it. It's worth it. And you don't have to work in this way or like this forever. It's usually not a forever thing. It's for a season. It's for a season. And that chopping wood and carrying water in a season creates new levels of growth, opportunity, choices, flexibility, income, all the things that we want. And then you enter into a new season of chopping wood and carrying water. But what you do now and in investing all of you into all of your business, it's just for a season. So you don't have to do it every day for the rest of your life, but you do have to do it today. Okay, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to chop some wood, we're going to carry some water, and we're going to talk about the most foundational part of your leadership in your business. We're going to talk about your one thing. We read that book last year, and I thought I edited it out of the entire packet, but I totally didn't. So that's why there's confusion about what book do we read, but we are reading The Compound Effect. If you want to grab the one thing too, I mean, it's an amazing book as well. But I'll refer to that a lot because that concept is important. The concept is all about your focus You're focused on one thing that creates growth that makes everything else unnecessary or easier. And for a leader in Mary Kay, your one thing is your personal business, and specifically personal recruiting within that, the broader picture of your personal business. And so let's talk about that, okay? Let's talk about that. There are really 6 systems in our businesses as sales directors that create strength and sustainability. And I'll go through them real quickly. These are in your packet, and this is what we're going to break down over the next 13 weeks. But it's your personal business, it's new consultant systems, it's meetings and events, it's career surveys, both yours personally and with your unit, or career chats or interviews, whatever you want to call it. Unit communication and recognition, and then coaching and moving people up into leadership. And so those 6 systems essentially encompass what we do as leaders in Mary Kay. And the first one that we're going to start with, because it's the foundation, is your personal business. And we're going to start here. We're going to stay here for like a minute or two or many, because I really want to get this piece. I want to like get it. And so I might hang out here for 1, 2, maybe even 3 hangouts. We might stay here for 3 weeks, because there's a lot to be said about this. And I want you to get it, like grab it and I understand it here, grab it, understand it here, and make it usable. You know, something you can hold on to and make it work for you in a way that it never has before. And so I'm going to tell you a bunch of stuff you already know. Probably this whole 90 days, this whole 13 weeks, there may not be a lot that you don't already know. But to know and to do are far, far different. Okay, to know and to do are different. And to know yet not do, it's as if you didn't know. Okay, so nothing I'm about to say is going to be new, groundbreaking news to you. But let's move from knowing to doing. And if you are doing, let's move from doing to doing better and being more effective, being world-class at your personal business. I know there are some incredible leaders in this group who are already doing and doing well. Let's do better now, what we already know to do well. And if you're only knowing yet not doing, let's start doing. Okay, so we're going to start doing or doing better. Okay, so the very first page, I just realized this today, and this was not even intentional, although very appropriate. The very first page, this lash is like funky. Even this one's like a little funky here, okay? So forgive my lashes today, ladies. So, okay, the very first page of week 1 of the packet. So if you open up your packet, there's kind of some intro pages and intro information, and then there's week 1 and page 1. And who knows what it is? Drum roll, please. It is the Power Program flyer for my national area. And let me give you some history on this. And actually, let me back up a little bit. I remember as a new director, you guys, I went to my events for probably the first full year as a brand new director, looking for the secret. And literally, I knew that I was like, I am looking for the secret. I'm going to find it. Who's going to tell me? And I would sit in my classes at career conference and seminar and fall advance and all the things that we do throughout the year. I would sit there and I'm like, okay, she's going to tell me. She's going to tell me the secret, and I'm ready to hear it. I mean, I literally was thinking like that. I remember sitting at career conference. You know how sometimes they'll do the classes for directors before the event starts that Friday afternoon? I was in a class, and I believe it was Chatney from Linda Tupin's area and Linda herself. I think those were the 2 teachers. And I remember sitting on the edge of my seat and Chatney's gonna tell me. She's gonna tell me the secret. I'm so excited. I'm gonna learn it here. And she went through her whole class. And what I heard again was the secret that's not a secret. Okay, this is my cat that adopted us. She has not been trained, because I don't know how to train cats. She literally adopted us. She's a farm cat. She's been wearing on my patience lately with jumping onto the counter. And so I'm sitting there and she told me what I already knew and I was doing at that level, but wasn't totally convinced at that point that that was the ticket. And she just talked about parties and working your personal business and holding lots of parties and doing parties well. That's all she talked about. And so I kept going to these events, and that's what I kept hearing was personal business and doing it well, doing it effectively, and how everything that you want out of Mary Kay is going to come from that. And so I heard it and I heard it and I heard it and I heard it. And I knew it and I knew it and I knew it and I knew it. Yet then something changed. I don't know what it was, but it shifted to really believing it and trusting that that's the answer. I found my secret. I found the secret that wasn't a secret, but it just took some time for me to really, truly trust and believe that that was the answer, that everything I wanted in Mary Kay was traced back to that. And that was going to be, it was going to be the thing that led to all other things. And so I knew it, and then I heard it, and then I believed it. And once I really chose to believe it, like, I just like squeezed the life out of it. I mean, I just like sunk my teeth in, put my hands around it, and I didn't let go of it. I just held on for dear life to my personal business. And for from starter kit to debuting as a national sales director was about 6.5 years, a little less than that. And for a little over 5 of those years, I was the sales director. And really for those 5 years as a director, I held 3 parties a week on average. True confessions, never held a 10-show week in my life because I didn't need to. Because I always held 3 parties a week from my starter kit, although there were seasons that I didn't as a consultant before I really caught the vision, but really as a director, from directorship to debuting as national, on average held 3 parties a week, week in, week out, week in, week out, week in, week out, month in, month out, month in, month out, month in, month out. And yes, there were weeks that I didn't, let's say seminar, we're in Dallas for a week, or the top director trip that I went on every year, I was gone for a week. And so I just made up for it on the front end and the back end. Okay, and planned for that. Like, okay, I'm leaving for Germany next week. I need to double time it before I leave, and I'll double time it when I get back to make up for the week that I knew I was going to miss. And so on average, held 3 a week consistently, and never had 10 because I didn't need or want to, because of the consistency and the growth and the results that 3 a week gave me. And I hope Mary Kay Ash wouldn't turn over in her grave, because I know she modeled for that. She fought for that standard. She held that standard. She lived that standard of a 10-show week. But when you work consistently and just do little small, seemingly insignificant choices over time, it really adds up to a lot of momentum. And that's the whole book premise. And by the way, this is not going to be a book study. This is just supplemental learning for you. And it's a book that's incredibly impacted the way I think, the way I live, the way I operate from day to day. And I want you to read it too for your own personal development. So I'll be pulling in concepts from the book, but the book really is for you as a leader to learn and digest and implement the concepts in that book. And so that's what it was. My personal business became the compound effect. And so from, a DIQ to a top director, my personal business never really changed. I never really worked more. And I share that with people on career survey calls, that I did that same work. Like, you would think to move up to the higher levels in Mary Kay, you need to do more, but I never really did. I just held the 3. What grew were the number of leaders and consultants in my unit and the time I invested in them. But my own personal business with my customers and my parties, it was very consistently the same investment of time over 5 years from director to NSD. Okay, so I grew up on the Gen X program. That is Pam Shaw's brainchild. Gen X stands for Generation Next, and it's a level of activity that leaders would be doing who would want to be like the next generation of leaders in the company and the business. And so it was the very first thing I learned as a new consultant. And I ate and slept and breathed and lived the Gen X program. It was all I knew. It was all I knew to do. My very first month in Mary Kay did Gen X Elite. Gen X was a perfect start. Gen X Elite was a power start. Now it's called the Power Program. Myself, Pam Shaw, and Julia Burnett all call it the Power Program, which is just a modified version of Gen X, but focuses more on full circle parties than faces, although there is a faces component there. And so whenever if I say Gen X accidentally, I mean the Power Program. Now we have levels 3, 6, and 9 in our national area. Pam does it a little bit differently. Julia does it a little bit differently, but it's the same basic concept that the whole Epic family lives by and works by. And that's basically like a perfect start or a power star plus is how it breaks down. If you want to mirror the language that the company uses, it's a perfect power and power star plus. And so if you don't have a program right now in your national area or your unit, adopting a program like this, and you can call it the Power Program or you can call it something else, doesn't matter, but such a significant, strong, meaningful focus to have the Power Program and to teach it to your unit. So I, as a consultant, it was my everything. It's what I did. It was Gen X Elite at that time. And that was my focus. That's what I tracked. That's what I talked about. That's what I got rewarded for. That's what I got recognized for. And then as a director, we just ate, lived, slept, breathed the Gen X and Power Program, and rallied my unit around that. That's what we recognized. That's what we applauded. That's what I had coaching calls on. That's what we sent out emails about. It was in the newsletter. It was at the meeting. It was everywhere. It was the Gen X Power Program. And we'll get into that later on in this program about how to really do that. But having that one central focus and using that program to develop your people is a thing. It is a thing that will be a part of your bigger unit goals that you have, okay? And so it's the first page. It's the very first page of this first week of the packet. I'm like, that's how I started Mary Kay, and that's still what is happening right now is that Power Program. So I get this question a lot. Okay, Leah, so I want to be a national sales director. Should I focus on, or fill in the blank with anything? I want to earn my Cadillac. I want to earn the top trip. And I've got this big goal in Mary Kay. Should I focus on my personal business or developing leaders? Okay, if you've been in this program before, you know my answer to that question. And I am just so loudly, boldly proclaiming that we do not do either or in Mary Kay. We don't develop people or build production. We don't do unit clubs or develop national areas. We do both. And they're together. And I don't even know mentally how to separate those things. I don't know how to separate people from production and production from people because it's the same thing. You guys, we develop people, which leads to production. We focus on building production, which leads us to people. Okay, so marry those things in your mind and your brain if you haven't. If you really see them as separate, how can we bring them together and marry them? Because it will make you a more effective, well-paid leader. You will make more money, you will grow faster, and you will be more effective when you start to focus on both and see them as one and the same thing, production and people. And so we work our personal business alongside of developing people. I mean, just the most common pitfall, common delay in growth that I see is a director letting go of her personal business to just focus on her unit. And it can commonly happen when you've got a lot of great things going on in your unit. Like things are hopping, popping, and you've got hot shots and people working. And so it's easy to just sort of let the personal business go. But I always kept such a tight grip on that. Even as a top director earning trips, doing almost $1 million, building a national area, my hands were always on my personal business. And it was part of the reason that we moved quickly and did big unit clubs while debuting Offspring. Okay, debuting an Offspring was always a promotion for me. not a crap, I lost all these people. What am I going to do now? Okay, it should never feel like that. Let debuting leaders be the promotion that it is and should be, and let it feel like that, and let it look like that in your checking account. That when you debut an offspring, like you see increase, you see growth, you see promotion, you see progress, you see movement, not fear and anxiety the month she's going to debut because of maybe what is or is not happening in your unit, in your personal business. Okay, it always felt like a promotion to me, never felt like a setback, never felt like a decrease, always a promotion, because I kept that hand on my personal business and that my hand on personal recruiting as well. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to say a few things. If you desire growth and achieving big goals, like if I were to say, tell me your seminar goals. What do you want to do by June 30th? I would hope and assume and think and believe that you all have a big goal, maybe something you've never done before. So you've got a goal to grow. It's going to require growth. So you desire that, yet are not working your business at least a basement level, perfect start level. Basement, like down in the basement where it's stinky, not a finished basement, like an unfinished basement. Perfect start is the unfinished basement. More power and power start plus is where we want to be, but basement level, perfect start. So like, okay, you're desiring growth, but maybe not working at least a basement level. Like there's a disconnect, like, whoa, disconnect. Like to want growth yet not be personally working at even a basement level. Consistently too, not 1 month on, 1 month off, 1 month on, 1 month off. No, like month after month after month. Like, what is the disconnect? Let's make the connection between growth and taking personal responsibility for growth and knowing that you lead the way as the leader. And the most foundational concept in leadership, the most foundational yet the most violated, is lead self first and lead by example. Like you don't have leadership until you build on that foundation. You might have a title, you might have a position, you might have a flash of success in leadership, but sustainable, long-lasting leadership will never happen unless built upon the foundation of lead self first and lead by example. We see the leaders out there in Mary Kay and in the world who are, they're out there, they are making things happen. They have the prestige of leadership. They have the stage, they have the suit, they have the income, they have the following, the followers, the masses of people behind them following them. And we're like, I want to be a leader like that. But what we don't see is years ago when they were chopping wood and carrying water and nobody cared and nobody watched and nobody talked about them because nobody saw it. Okay, the only way to build sustainable leadership, sustainable success, is to build on the foundation of lead self first. You lead yourself first and you lead by example. And then you build upon that to then teach other people to do it. And the best way to teach them is to show them. So let them watch you do a party. Let them watch you close a guest. Let them listen to you do career surveys. Let them watch you personally recruit. Let them watch you personally sell. And make a great income on selling the product because you're in front of people. Let them watch you earn the B. Let them watch you be on the National Court of Sales. Let them watch you book 10 every month. Let them watch you do a power start every month. They watch you do that, and they're like, I want that. Like, I want to do what she's doing. And then you create higher levels of leadership. Okay, so oh man, John Maxwell's book, it made me think of that. He has this book of 5 levels of leadership, and it so perfectly aligns with our career path, like oddly aligns with our career path. And it starts with, they're P's. It's like position. Like you just get the title. That's often in like Red Jacket, DIQ, director, you get a title, but you may or may not necessarily be a leader yet, or it may not have refined and developed your leadership skills. So it's position. And then it's Oh, something production, maybe? No, production is the third one. There's something there where you, yeah, anyways, we'll save that for another hangout. But the book and his levels like perfectly align with how you move up on the Mary Kay career path. It's really cool. Let me actually write that down. Maybe I'll do something extra on that. 5 levels of leadership. Okay, so. um, let me share a story with you. Usain Bolt, he is a gold medal Olympian as a sprinter and a world record holder for sprinting. And I heard this story told that it was a race where he gold medaled and broke a world record. But what was amazing about this race is that silver and bronze medal runners also broke world records. So silver or bronze, silver, and gold were world record holders, which is incredible. But then Usain Bolt got the gold medal. And so they were interviewing the silver and bronze medalists after the race, and they were asking him like, "Oh my goodness, you had your best. It was their best personal record, and happened to beat a world record. They're like, how did you do this? How did you have your best race ever?" And both of their response was, "We were just trying to keep up with Hussein." That's what they said. They were following the leader. They were trying to keep up with him. And so would your unit say that about you? Because as the leader, you guys, we have to be the most in the field. Okay, the most effective at the party, the best customer service skills, the best product knowledge, the most disciplined, the most developed. It is the leader's role. It's the leader's call. It's the leader's responsibility to be the most. And your unit members are just like, I want to follow her. Like, I need to move faster. I need to keep up with her. Would your unit members say that about you? I'm just trying to keep up with her, what she's doing. And you guys, let us lead the way in this business and in this culture, in this crazy world that we live in. Let us be unapologetic about work ethic and the work ethic that it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur in Mary Kay. Let us be bold and loud and unapologizing about it. Can we be the generation that stands firm and stands strong for that? Can we be like a bright light on a hill in this crazy world we live in that values comfort and leisure and abundance and affluence without working for it, and feeling entitled and having expectations with nothing to back them up? Let's be a bright light in this world that says no. Roll up your sleeves and work hard. Don't expect something for nothing. I think we have an opportunity, you guys, an opportunity to make a difference in the company and in our culture, to stand for that and to not apologize for it. I used to, you guys, true confessions. I used to want my unit to only see me doing maybe long lunches in the middle of the day, or doing leisurely things, or just enjoying the flexibility of an entrepreneur, which are wonderful gifts. They're wonderful luxuries to be enjoyed. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying them. And there's a time and a place to enjoy the luxuries and the flexibility of an entrepreneurial lifestyle and the income of an entrepreneurial lifestyle. And I used to just want my unit to see that, because I thought oh, they'll want to be a director if they just see me doing fun, leisurely things. And there's some truth to that. And we do want to paint a beautiful picture of our lives, because we live beautiful, amazing lives. So ain't nothing wrong with that. But I really shifted. I started to shift as I don't know, got older and started observing our culture and our world, where people really want something for nothing and feel entitled to something for nothing. I'm like, you know what? I want them to see me work. I want them to see me roll up my sleeves and get gritty and be in the field. I want them to see me and know that I work hard at my business and I'm willing and I want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to just be comfortable. I want to experience discomfort because only in discomfort do you grow. And I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to be stagnant for myself and I don't want to be a stagnant leader for them. So I've got to keep pushing myself, stretching myself, growing. And yes, enjoy leisure and the fun and the luxuries of this lifestyle, but I'd rather them see me work. And I don't want them to ever hear me apologize for it. Okay? So let's lead the way with this because you know what? I would far rather attract women who desire that too. Like attract women who are like, yeah, I like to work hard. Like bring it on. What do you got for me? Like I'm in. I'm ready. I'll do it. Like you rolling up your sleeves, I'll roll mine up too. Okay, here we go. Like I want to attract that woman, the exception. I want to attract her. I want to attract people who think they can get something for nothing, or people who want to enjoy the luxuries of entrepreneurship without the work ethic of an entrepreneur. So let's attract the worker bees. Those are the girls we want. So to attract the worker bees, we got to be the worker bees. Okay, so why don't we sometimes? Why don't we work our personal business? I'm jotting a little note down to myself. Okay. Let's explore that, and I want to invite you to take a minute to explore it in your own mind and just be real with yourself. Write some thoughts down. Maybe shine a light on a shadow in your mind that is a limiting belief to working your personal business. Write it down, put it on paper. It's good to take those things and those limiting beliefs and just see them in black and white and to expose them and to shine light on them, because sometimes that's all you need to do for a limiting belief is just to realize that you have it and to have a higher level of awareness that it's there. And sometimes that awareness is enough to overcome it. Other times we have to do a little bit more work to overcome that, but awareness is powerful. So shine a flashlight in your brain and search for reasons why aren't you working your business at a power start level consistently throughout the seminar year? And yes, like a power start every month for 12 months in a row in a year, with the sales and career surveys and full circle work that follows it. Okay, so not just burning through 30 or more faces. That's pointless. I'm talking about full circle work. Like, have you done a power start for 12 months in a row? For even 6 months in a row, for 3 months in a row? I want to loudly say that would be like the expectation is a power start. 12 months in a row to really create some serious growth and be operating at the level you're capable of and the level that you desire. And so why haven't you, or why don't you? And I feel uncomfortable asking a question with why, because we learn in coaching school that carries judgment or passes judgment. So this is not, I don't want anybody to feel any shame. Like, ain't nobody got time for shame and guilt. And if you're feeling that, just stop it, because it's not going to do you any good. We just got to deal in reality with where we're at and make choices to grow. Okay? No shame, no guilt, no weirdness, no weird feelings. Just okay, where am I at? What is my reality? And what's my next best step? Okay? If you put the backpack of shame and guilt on, that heavy backpack, you guys, it's just going to weigh you down and it's just going to slow you down. And we want to be light and fast in the new year. So shed the backpack of shame and guilt and regret, and just here you are on January 2nd, 2019. It's a new week, it's a new month, it's a new year. Like, here you are, let's go. No shame, no guilt. Just deal with where you're at and start booking. Okay, book 15, that's our task for this week. It would be due by the 5th of the month, which kind of nicely aligns with where we're at, because that's the end of the week. Then you would submit your numbers by Monday. So book 15. So you get credit for that task when you book 15 by the 5th at midnight, whatever your time zone is. And that's That's it, you guys. I don't know what else you should be doing except that. And that's it. Book 15. I don't know what else to tell you to do to get things in motion to create growth. So why don't we? I think maybe one reason. So I'm just going to go over a couple possible reasons in case this shines a light on maybe a limiting belief or something that's holding you back. Because remember, we just want to shine a light on it, have awareness so we can move forward. So why don't you? I think sometimes we just pretend not to know. You know, like me as a new director, like I kind of knew that personal business was the answer, but I just sort of maybe wanted a different answer. I think that's the reality. I just like wanted it to be something else, like some other nice secret that once I knew that, then it would be easier or something. But sometimes we pretend not to know or ignore that we do know. And so let's just live in truth. The truth sets you free. Anything you want to do to create sustainable growth starts with your personal business. Okay. I think another reason why, and this is a big one, is maybe you haven't delegated enough of the busy work or to be prepared enough. Okay, so just like if your skincare class bags are like a total hot mess, it's hard to want to book 15 for January because you're not even ready. Okay, so like cleaning up the skincare class bags, having your hostess packets ready, having all your samples, your paperwork printed, your stuff packed, your product ready to go. Like there's a lot of tedium that goes into holding parties that if you haven't created systems to take care of the tedious, mundane, like busy work, I wouldn't want to book a party if I wasn't ready because I wouldn't be ready. So are you prepared for a book 15 just with your stuff, your bags, your mirrors, your samples, your paperwork? And if you're the one constantly having to get that stuff ready, I wouldn't want to do a power start either. It's too much. It's too much work and stupid work. Like I don't want to wash mirrors. I don't want to like unload boxes of product and label them. It's too much. And so that's easy stuff to delegate, figure it out, find somebody, hire somebody, talk somebody into it, get your kids to do it, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. Don't let cleaning mirrors hold you back from your best year ever. But you've got to delegate that stuff. Because you can't be doing it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your hourly rate, you guys. I've done this training with directors many times before where you actually figure out or put a value to your hourly rate. Let's do that really quickly because I'm going to go back to that and refer to that a lot throughout this program. And this might help you to put delegation into perspective and might help you to choose the higher valued things over the what I call low hanging fruit. Like a lot of times we like grab for this low hanging fruit. And low-hanging fruit is like things we need to do, things that may be of some value, but it's like the easy stuff. So you just like grab the ripe apple that's hanging down almost on the ground. And yeah, it's an apple, it's a nice apple, but the real fruit is at the top. And we want to stretch and grab the real stuff. And so, so how you figure out your hourly rate is the normal world outside of Mary Kay. Newsflash, they work 40 hours a week. Can you believe that? Like 40 hours. Lord have mercy. Can you imagine 40 hours? That's what the real world does. And they work 40 hours for 50 weeks out of the year, usually with, a standard vacation time of 2 weeks. So we're going to take 40 hours and we're going to multiply that by 50 weeks in the year. And 2,000 is the number that you get. And that is the average amount of hours the average American works is 2,000. And so then if you want to know your hourly rate, you would take your income divided by your hours. So let's say this person, so let's use a director example, okay? I am going to guess that the average director works 20 hours a week. Okay, that's my best guess. Just in my observations of my own area and of, Mary Kay as a whole, directors that I talk to. I would say I would feel pretty good about guessing it's a 20-hour a week investment of time, which I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit trail. I'm not going to right now. But what would it look like to work 40 hours a week? Oh my goodness, can you imagine what you could do? Can you imagine? So average director works 20 hours a week. And so if you take 20 hours a week times 50, and we take more time off than that, let's be real, ladies. Just remember, we're entrepreneurs. We have complete flexibility. So we use it, possibly abuse it. Just saying, okay? 20 hours times 50, 20 times 50 equals 1,000. Yeah, so 1,000. So the real world, like people outside of the Mary Kay Pink bubble, they work 2,000. Average director, I'm guessing probably 1,000. And then let's say 50,000 would be an income divided by 1,000 hours equals $50. I'm just going to use that as our sort of average hourly rate or value. Okay, and this is important to understand this. You got to know what your time is worth. You've got to know what a day is worth. We've got to learn to value that, value our hour, value our days, value our time, and learn to invest and steward them wisely. And so I hope that putting a number to it might help you to do that. And so do this exercise yourself for your own numbers. And how you do it is you take your desired income, okay, your desired income for 2019. Like, what do you want to see on your 1099 that Mary Kay's going to mail to you next year? What number do you want to see on it? And so you take that number. So let's just call it 50,000 for the sake of an example. And let's say you work 20 hours a week. So we figured it was 50, but do your own, like, let's say you want to make 100,000 and you're willing to work 30 hours a week. So how many total hours is that? I think that's 1,500 divided by 100,000. Let's see what that is. So you're making a 6-figure income, 100,000 divided by 1,500 hours. And so you have increased to $67. The average inner circle national sales director makes like $350 an hour. That's the value of their time. Okay, important to know the value of an hour, like, oh, a sweet, precious hour, and what is possible in just an hour. Like, let's learn to value that, like the precious gift of time. And so what happens is we don't do work that is valued at our hourly rate. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Would you pay someone $50 an hour to like comments on Facebook? No, you wouldn't. Would you pay someone $50 an hour to clean out your skincare class bags? No, you wouldn't. Would you pay someone $50 an hour to watch random YouTube videos? Would you pay somebody $50 an hour to clean out your email inbox? Would you pay someone $50 an hour to put labels on your product? No, 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 and no. That work isn't worth that rate. Okay, it's just not, like, not anywhere. It's not worth the rate. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the value. And so, but yet we find ourselves doing these things. We do these things. We like comments on Facebook. We start scrolling. We see a YouTube video. It leads us to something else. Then we go into our email, and then we're making a pic collage on our phone, and then we're answering stupid email. And then a work day's gone by, and we've done work below our hourly value. And so it's as if you are taking $20 bills out of your wallet, your purse, and just lighting them on fire. You know, imagine doing that. Take a $20, $50 bill, grab a lighter, and just burn it. Just burn it up. Because that is what we do when we do work that is not at our hourly value or rate. And so what work is, okay, we know as directors, it's being in front of people. It's the people. It's sharing the product. It's going to parties. It's doing facials. It's doing unit meetings. It's training our units. It is being with our unit members. It's taking them to our parties. It's doing career surveys. It's the people. It's the people. Anything involving people. It's loving the people, talking to the people, being in front of the people, mentoring the people, training the people, following up with the people, building relationships with the people. That is the stuff that we get paid to do. And we have the opportunity to get paid a lot to do those things. Yet we find ourselves doing all these other things and lighting $50 bills on fire all year long. And then the year goes by and you're like, oh man, I worked my business all year. And what do I have to show for it? It's because you've been lighting $50 bills on fire the entire year. You are burning through the hours and not the value that you needed to have to make the income that you're capable of making. It's there on the table for you, like a stack of money sitting on the table, has your name on it, but you've just been burning it up all year. Okay, that stack of money, let's keep that stack of money. And let's transfer that stack of money into our checking accounts by doing things worth $50 an hour or more. Okay, so I hope you have your value, your number in your mind, because I'm going to refer back to that as we talk about things. And we're going to learn to shift and invest and steward our time so that we're doing things worth that rate. Whatever that number is for you, might be lower, might be higher, but have a rate in mind. Another one, we just don't prioritize it. It's probably on your list every day to book or to coach or do this or that with your personal business. I hope it's on at least somewhere on the list, but maybe not prioritized on the list. I have a sales director in my area who we went through this accountability program in the beginning of the seminar year, and I had them do a time study. And a time study is something I learned from Linda Tupin, where you take a weekly plan sheet and you color code it. You can't use words. It's just that every activity or category has a color, and you're just filling in the colors as you go throughout your day with what you're choosing to invest your time in. And green was personal business, and she just had this big personal awareness that she had like little to no green. She had all these other colors, but was investing little to no time on her personal business, yet it was on her list every day. So when it's on our list, it's like we think we're doing it, you know, but it just gets not prioritized. So kind of like, you know, I'll get to it when I get all of this done. And I don't know about you, but when does all of this get done? So anything at the bottom is just not going to get done and transferred to the next day. And it's on the list. So surely we're doing it, right? It's on the list. It's on my 6 most. So I'm doing it. Not doing it is probably actually what's happening if it's not being prioritized. And so she adopted this whole concept of eat the frog. I think it's Brian Tracy who wrote the book. I've never read the book, but I understand the concept that if you had to eat a frog today, you'd want to just get it over with first thing in the morning, so you didn't have to think about eating a frog all day and it would ruin your day and you'd just be bothered by it all day. And so she adopted the frog as her spirit animal and started prioritizing her personal business. And so she couldn't do some of the other things that she liked to do and preferred to do until her personal business work was done. Okay, so maybe sometimes we don't prioritize it so it's on the list, but just at the bottom. And we're just grabbing at low-hanging fruit. And personal business is more of a stretch and a reach to the top. You know, we often do what's easy and feels urgent, just easy and urgent. And we're reactive and we're just responding versus the valuable and the difficult of initiating. That's personal business. It's the valuable and difficult initiation that we have to use more willpower, more energy, more drive to do. Whereas responding, reacting, easy, oh, it's urgent, I have to do it. That is just human nature to gravitate towards those things rather than the valuable, the difficult. Okay, so how could you start prioritizing it in your day? Like you don't get to do X, Y, or Z until personal business is done. Why else don't we do it? What do you guys think? Why else? Another reason is not understanding the power of it. Possibly because you've never seen the power of it. Like, have you had a season where you saw the power of your personal business, where it really set into motion, momentum, and growth that was just magical? Have you seen that happen? When's the last time that did happen? Go back to that time. What were you doing during that time? What created that? And if you haven't experienced that, there just hasn't been a long enough run, a long enough stretch of lots of personal work and being in front of lots of people effectively to create it. But believe that it's powerful. Like all that you want in Mary Kay can be achieved. This cruise can be done with just prioritizing some personal work. I mean, anything you want. Your next car, your Cadillac, your unit club, your national court, your bees, the Bahamas, anything you want. National sales director debut, it will start with that. You are the first domino. And when you knock that personal business over, it knocks over all other things that you want to accomplish. So. I'm going to tell you a quick story here. And we're going to go back to this story a couple of times, and then we're going to close with a little activity. So it was as a new director, in our first full year as a unit, we earned the top director trip that year. And we went from, and then we debuted 3 Offspring sales directors. And so our meeting that I was holding in the Panera community room that was close to where I lived in Dayton, Ohio, it went from an okay meeting. I never really had a rockin' meeting as a new director for a variety of reasons, but partly because my people were out of town. A lot of them were. And then partly because I just hadn't made it a rocking meeting. Okay. So it went from an okay meeting to like nothing and nobody. I think it was 3 weeks in a row that I showed up. And then, of course, you're like schlepping all your things. I hadn't delegated that at that point. So I'm getting all my bags and my posters and my boxes and my stereo and all the things. And like one by one, multiple trips, schlepping it in to the room, setting it all up, investing all of that time in crickets. Like nobody was showing up. And this happened 3 weeks in a row. And I remember sitting there in that Panera community room, just realizing that this is a problem and this cannot continue on. This is not a good use of time. And just pondering what to do. And my first thought, my like knee-jerk reaction, my go-to thought was, I'll cancel the meeting until people want to come. Right? Logical. But usually things don't work like that. Like you build it so that they can come. You create it so that they can come. You don't wait till they come and then build it. Usually doesn't work reverse like that. And so I knew in my heart of hearts, the only answer was to take personal responsibility and to have my own guests, which up until that point was never really a strength for me. As a consultant and new director, I had guests every now and then. It wasn't a strength for me and it wasn't a desire. It was too mentally chaotic to me to have guests at my own meeting while I had consultants and their guests and I had training and you have to set it all up. It was like mental multitasking on like overload. And it was just like, blah, chaotic. And I just didn't want to do that. And so I didn't have guests to meeting. But I knew in my heart that that was the only answer, the only right answer. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take freaking personal responsibility and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to have my own guests. And if nobody else comes, I'll have a party. And so I started with my own customers. I had oodles and oodles and oodles of customers who had never been to one of my meetings or workshops because I didn't invite them. And so I had a before and after model portfolio workshop that I created. It was just a normal party and a normal meeting where we took before and after pictures. And I built a portfolio out of those pictures. And so I started with my customers and invited them to this before and after model portfolio workshop. It was a makeup workshop where they would get a facial and then we take their before picture. They couldn't smile. It was like a mugshot. And then when you'll do your makeover and we'll take your after picture and fluff up your hair and you can smile in that. I promise I won't post them on Facebook. This helps me build my portfolio and helps me do color training. And it's a super fun night for you. It's kind of like a girls' night out where you get a complimentary facial and makeover. You get a gift card for coming. It's super, super fun. A lot of people bring their friends and they'll go out for dinner or drinks before or after. Like, I would love for you to come. You got to come. Okay, so that was like the gist of my script that I used. So I made it sound really fun, girls' night out, gave them a $25 gift card for coming. You put money where you want to get results. And so I just started booking my customers, booking. And then at every party that I went to from that point on, and I'm telling you for years, I invited that whole skincare class to my before and after model portfolio workshop. And I'm not very creative, so that's what it was for like, I don't know, 3-4 years as a director, 5 years maybe. No, probably 3 or 4 until I debuted as a national sales director. and so that's what they came to. And so like I said, I'm not very creative. Once a quarter, we would change the colors that they tried to the new limited edition colors that came out that quarter. And so as it started off, it was just me and my people, okay, me and my guests that I invited, and we did a party, a normal Mary Kay party. And then slowly but surely, some other people would pop in every now and then. And if I had a consultant there, you know how sometimes that makes it like super awkward. You're like, I wish you didn't come. Because now this is like totally awkward. I got to find something to do with you. But it's awesome that they're there, because that's the best thing she could be doing in the whole world is watch you do a party. And I would have them help me with different parts of it. And then I slowly started recruiting some people, and they would come to the workshop. And then it kind of started to grow, and they would bring people, and we were selling, and we were recruiting, and it was kind of growing. And then it just over the years kept growing. Over the years. 2 years later, it was a standing room only meeting with like 20, 30, 40 guests and 20, 30, 40 consultants. We had to keep moving venues because we were breaking fire codes. There was one meeting night I remember in particular of myself and one of my DIQs going down to the entrance of this office building and getting this huge, like solid wood bench that we carried up 2 flights of stairs. Like we had no business carrying that bench at all. Like if one of us would have tripped, it would have been over. And so we're like hauling this bench in our, our heels and our Mary Kay attire up into this room just so like people could maybe sit down. I mean, breaking fire codes, good problems to have. And it was just this rockin' awesome meeting that we were training new consultants in one room and seasoned consultants in another, and red jackets were training and being in front of guests. And I was sharing my iStory, and I was crowning our queens and recognizing people. And it was Mary Kay culture and love and positivity and all the things. Was born after 2 years. And I say 2 years, and I realize some people may be like, 2 years from now, I could possibly have that. But do you know how short 2 years is? You guys, it's a blink. It's like a blink in the eye, blink of the eye. 2 years can go by. And you can really go from zero to hero and from nothing to rock and meeting. And here's why I'm glad I did, is because the last 7 directors to finish our national area came from that meeting. They were recruited there, trained there, became red jackets there, trained as red jackets there, became DIQs there, recruited and built their own DIQ teams there at the meeting, and eventually debuted as directors, the last 7 to finish our national area, to debut when we did in 2012. It was the meeting I almost canceled a few years earlier. Sitting in a Panera community room thinking, I'll cancel this and reschedule when somebody wants to come. I mean, I can pretty much say with 100% certainty that I would not be a national sales director today had I not made that hard choice in the moment to take personal responsibility and invite guests to the meeting. Now, I also want to say there are 99 ways to skin a cat, and therefore there are 99 ways to become a national sales director. If you asked 100 different nationals how they built their national areas, you'd hear 100 different stories. And so what I'm telling you is not gospel truth. There's not only one way to do it, but all I can teach you is what I did. I'm not going to teach you theory and maybe what might work. I'm going to teach you what I did and what I made work. And you probably won't do it the exact same way, but hopefully you can take a nugget or two from this story. And really the overarching part of the story is just personal responsibility. It's just doing the hard thing in the moment that you probably would rather not do. It's leading yourself first and leading by example, taking personal responsibility. Like, oh, it's kind of like a bad word. It's a dirty word. You hear it and you're like, oh, personal responsibility. Like, really? That's like so hard to do. It really is. It's like those private moments and those private victories that are just hard to choose, yet lead to so much fruit and so much growth. and eventually really become a blessing to so many other people. So where can you take higher levels of personal responsibility in your business, in your life, in your habits? What is going to be the shift in 2019 for you to grow? What's going to be that commitment that you make? What's going to be that next level, that higher level of work ethic, personal responsibility, and commitment that you make to yourself, to your business, to your life, to your family? There will be reward to those choices. It's inevitable. It's just how the world works. It's how the universe is set up. There will be reward for those choices. But remember, it's hard on the front end. It's super messy and ugly in the middle, but beautiful on the other end of growth. Okay, so we're starting with the hard and messy. Here we are on January 2nd, 2019, doing the hard and the messy and doing our book 15s. That's all you've got to do, my friends. Number one thing, book 15 by the 5th. Nothing else matters until you have fully invested yourself in that. Fully, 100%. Hard over the line for a book 15 by the 5th, like solid, coached, target market people. And it will set in motion all other things. It's the first domino that knocks all the other ones down. All right. So love you guys. All right, one of 13 done. We didn't cover everything, so I'll get back on the same soapbox next week, and we'll cover some more stuff. And keep us posted on Facebook. All right, love you guys.